Hello, welcome to Mid-Atlantic Weather Quick Weather Outlook. As we cover the next couple days, and we'll have a long-term kind of look and feel here. Just want to quickly look here at the setup that we have across the United States. What you're going to see is pretty amazing low pressure system front configured all the way up here into the. I mean, this is huge. I think somebody said 3,500 square miles of a front. Huge influx of moisture. You're seeing record high amounts of moisture even up into the Great Lakes regions just from the amount of moisture that's actually able to come up here. What we do see is this high pressure system off the upper northeast coast. It's wedging cool air down the east side of the mountains. So here in Virginia and the Mid-Atlantic, we're seeing cooler air today than we did yesterday because we have the cold air damming effect happening. And a quick run through here what we expect. Low is coming across. This is the one I was showing you. It's actually really strong. It was causing the tornadoes and all the other active weather, including the blizzard that was out here in the Colorado mountains, which dumped over 2 feet of snow in the mountains, and maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 inches, maybe up to a foot around Denver. So anyway, this is going to come east, and the low, you see a little wave developing along it. We get some thunderstorms in these reddish shaded areas. Comes through here over the next 24, 36 hours. Pretty strong system. It's going to dump a lot of rain really quick. The mountains down here, the North Carolina, South Carolina, have flood watches up because, well, they just don't need any more rain, and it won't take much for it to flood. But once this comes through, it's going to get really chilly for the weekend. So this comes on through, and then we're going to get some reinforcement on Saturday. So here we are on day 3. We have the cool air in place after the front came through. This one's raced way off, and here comes another reinforcement that's going to cause some snow up in this region. Areas that have not seen snow yet are going to get some snow. It's going to race east and look how far it goes. It also is strengthening a little bit, and it's definitely plunging in colder, windy air for Sunday. So we're going to see the coolest day probably of winter, well, I should say late fall season so far. And as we move forward, you see this high coming in over top. This is kind of a repeat again because the high is going to bring cooler air than we have seen, but not sticking around. Well, it sticks around a little bit, but in general, it's moving and progressing towards the east because here we see more reinforcing low pressure systems on the west coast. They're going to head east, and that's going to kick this high towards the northeast. Now, just as before, here we go again with the high going in the northeast. Cold air damming situation could set up next week. So maybe, although mild idea or mild talk, maybe a little bit truncated. But anyway, by next Wednesday, we should see a milder looking day. Then Thursday comes around. I'm just going to kind of throw up in the air as to whether or not I see cold air damming coming into place. It seems like it could be there. Different setup, too, by the GFS, which is the American model, versus the European model, which is a little different. But anyway, just to let you know, next week starts off cool and kind of miles up, go almost to normal and then a little bit above normal before what could be an interesting pattern coming up the following week. So here's a real quick look in the 6 to 10 day time frame. You see this cold air here on the East Coast. That's a little interesting to look at. But they're choosing to, actually showing that just because we're cool doesn't mean we're wet this time. So this is kind of a difference in pattern. We haven't seen this too much this year. And then we look in the longer term and normal or even slightly above normal returns with above normal precipitation. Like I said, what I'm going to mention is that the first week in December is interesting as far as its setup. And we want to watch that week maybe for a potential window of something a little more interesting weather-wise. And there still the longer term outlook continues to show warmer conditions and above normal precip in the areas as we head into official winter starting December 1st. So anyway, that's kind of what we want to look at. I also wanted to highlight just how windy and dynamic this system is really quick for the next 24 hours, what we're going to see. See some hazardous weather outlooks here. We're going to see wind, maybe even some thunderstorms tomorrow morning as this front moves through this region. In this region here, we could see some severe weather. This frontal system is very energetic, and as I mentioned, the higher amounts of rain for the North Carolina mountains. So these are flood watches here. You have high wind watches and advisories up already, or high wind warnings up north here. But I mean, in general, you see wind advisories being posted. Definitely need based on the amount of energy. Strong southerly winds try to increase overnight. bringing out and trying to dislodge the cooler air that's in place. That's going to be more possible down here in the south, less possible in the north, but pretty strong front comes through. Quick half an inch to an inch of rain could fall in the morning, so look for heavy rains. Right around rush hour, it's bad for areas of the DC area, maybe just west of Richmond and parts of Richmond in the later morning rush. And then that moves and clears on out, so that's tomorrow afternoon. Western regions start to see clearing, eastern regions by nightfall. Anyway, that's it. I wanted to give you the full breakdown there, and thanks for watching this outlook.